So next up we have Marina and Helen. Irish Granny is going to be here as well. So let's just take a look at their introduction videos.
Hello everyone, my name is Marina and my YouTube channel name is Heart Centered Tarot. As a Canadian, I'm thrilled to be included in this momentous event, not only because political tarot is a passion of mine, but also because I want to support my fellow readers, friends, and neighbors south of the border. Tune in on Sunday, September 1st at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to Monday, September 2nd at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for those of you that are in my time zone, and be a part of this powerful movement. This is the movement Psychics Holding the Line for Democracy. So, I went to sleep in November 2016, pretty confident that Hillary Clinton would emerge as your president. What I woke up to the next morning was tantamount to a gut punch. The unthinkable had happened, and the president was none other than the most unqualified, undignified, and morally unsuitable person for the position. I won't let that happen again. And while I can't vote in your election, I can offer every ounce of support and strength I have to ensure that this time, this November, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz emerge as your president and vice president. I can also do all I can to encourage everyone to vote up and down the ticket and ensure that Kamala and Tim will have the full support of the Senate and the House as they begin their leadership journeys. Let's help them ensure that democracy prevails, that respect returns to the Supreme Court, that women's rights are once again human rights, that decency returns to politics, and guardrails and safeguards are put in place so that someone like DJT could never happen again. We've experienced the joy, the happiness, the love, the possibility, the humanity that Kamala and Tim embody. You, are so close to the finish line. Now is not the time to be complacent. Now is the time to dig in and view every day as the day before Election Day. Show your support by donating to their campaigns during this 24-hour broadcast. And remember, 100% of the funds raised go directly to their campaigns. There is no middleman here. It goes directly to them. So I can't wait to participate in Psychics Holding the Line for Democracy. And I would encourage you to join me and as many of your other readers as you can. We'll be on for 24 hours. You'll be spoiled for choice. So take advantage of this unique opportunity to receive a free psychic reading and spiritual guidance while supporting democracy. And if that's not enough for you, there'll be opportunities to win giveaways after each set of readers. If you'd like a little more information and the link to the website where this will be happening, look down in the description of the video. It's all there for you. I can't wait to see each and every one of you. And I thank you for your support and participation in this historic event. Take care all, and I'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you, Marina. So next up, we are going to do the introduction video finally for Helen, Irish Granny. Let's see, where did she go? Oh my gosh, I don't see it. Helen, where did you go? I know you're here somewhere. All right, hang on. Let me see. I'll pull it from the other place. I think what happened was yours was too long and it wouldn't fit in the preload section, so I had to move you to another folder. Is that funny or what? Here you are. Okay. Welcome, Helen.
Kate Falcha, welcome. I'm Helen. I am Irish Granny Tarot. I was born in Ireland and raised in Southern California. I am an immigrant. I come from a large Irish Catholic family and everything that implies. I served 17 years hard time in Catholic schools and eventually came to the metaphysical exploration that led me here today. Psychic ability runs in my family. We recognize it now in at least one of my grandchildren, and it has never been considered anything unusual. It's just another sense. I began creating my YouTube channel, although I didn't really know it at the time, as a MAGA mob was storming the Capitol, and I feel very much like this was a call to action for me. My channel is really diverse. I provide political background on public figures and public issues, and then I read tarot cards about them to give more insight, trying to understand current events. I also discuss a wide variety of topics: metaphysics, paranormal activity, near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, remote viewing, UFOs and ET contact, plasma physics, psychopathology, history, just you name it. Every week on a Saturday, I synopsize a book, and when it's possible, I arrange a friendly chat with the author or some expert on the subject of the book. And I have frequent guests, wonderful guests, that join me for free-flowing conversations or tarot readings or both. I'm a parent, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a niece, I'm a mother of 5 girls, I'm a grandmother of 3, and I'm a woman. And we women are in an existential battle for our rights. This community here is a strong community, supportive. We've rallied together in defense of democracy. The Democrats, Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, Tim Walz, Governor Walz, offer our best chance to avoid an authoritarian, Orwellian corporate theocracy. The threat is real. And that is with all of the misogyny, racism, homophobia, and intolerance that those terms imply. Please join us in supporting Vice President Harris and Governor Walz. Check your voters' registration. Check it regularly up until November 5th. Once is not enough. There are those who would purge the voting rolls. They would prefer that we had no voice, and they will try to take your name off the list. And please, vote, vote, vote. And as they say in my country of origin, Guramayagat. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. That was awesome. All right, so we are going to bring on now Helen and Marina to take us through the next couple of hours. I don't know what they have planned, but it should be fun and exciting, and there will be more giveaways. So stay tuned, everybody. Here they come.
Hi, friend.
I know, friend. Your presentation was wonderful. By the way, your hair, fabulous. That crown, oh my God. Mine was painful. You want to know why?
Why?
Well, I wrote little memory notes so I would not miss anything. And I couldn't read my handwriting. So anyway, doesn't matter. So funny.
Yeah, I must admit, I did have to do a couple takes because, the first one, there was some information that I left out, and I thought, oh, that's all right. I'll just redo it because I had written it out. And then the second one, I got about halfway through, and I just happened to look up, and it wasn't recording.
Oh, God.
Press record.
So annoying. Oh my God.
I know. So there, so if you see me looking around and everywhere else, because I was reading. But you know what? Every single word was heartfelt. There is, I absolutely do not want to have a repeat of 2016. I do not want to wake up the next day and feel like I did on that day. And like someone said in the chat, yes, it was a gut punch. Yes, I was physically ill.
My neighbor had an election night party. They were all celebrating Hillary, right?
Yes.
And I went over there about 8 o'clock. I finally said, I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to bed because I'm in a deep depression.
Yes.
And she said, aren't you going to stay and celebrate? And I said, Trump's going to win. She got really angry with me, for harshing her buzz, wrecking her party.
Yes.
So I wasn't surprised. I fully expected it. The day he came down the golden escalator, I knew, Anyway, I want to thank you because I think it's remarkable. It puts Americans to shame. We hardly know anything about our own government. We know nothing about Canada. Nothing. I know Trudeau.
Yeah.
I know you're a democracy. Yeah. I know there's some French people up there in the Northeast, but truthfully, we know very little. We're not taught much about Canada.
Yes.
And I am so impressed and so grateful how the quality, the level, the depth of your understanding of this political system. However, I suspect it's a protective mechanism. It's like when you live next door to a psychotic neighbor who is ranting and raving and waving his weapons around. It must feel the same way.
Yes, sometimes it does. Because, how the direction that the U.S. goes in has a direct impact on us and the rest of the world.
Sure.
You may think it doesn't. However, it does.
Oh, yeah.
And believe me, we have Trump-like supporters up here as well. We are facing an election that is going to be happening soon that is going to have major consequences. Enough is enough. And some of us are looking at the prospect of Trudeau squeaking in again by, a sliver. We need a change. We can't have things go on the way that they've been going on. There's, it's not nearly as bad as it is in the U.S., but oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, you guys had a truck convoy thing last year, right? Was it? Toronto.
Toronto. Ottawa.
And they ended up making life miserable for all the people who actually lived in the downtown area. They couldn't get in and out of there. I mean, it was really difficult.
It was awful.
But it's symptomatic, right?
Absolutely.
How can the United States government not affect Canada when California, all by itself, has the 4th largest economy in the world? In the world. That blows my mind. It's incredible. Yes. So I'm hoping, are you watching the chat? Because I can't see it. Unless it's in Braille. I don't know if there's anybody backstage right now helping us out with questions.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I am perfectly
There
Omega
we
there.
go.
Ain't any weird people in the Bible. Yeah. Rose blue, you know what? They wouldn't believe you. That's just it. They wouldn't believe you. So we do have actually, I just noticed that there is a question from hold on before I go too far.
Well, while you're looking, let me tell Rose Blue something. Rose,
Yes.
on my channel, in the past and ongoing, like the next couple of weeks, whatever, I've been covering the books of Paul Wallace. And he's a very interesting 30-plus year theologian, pastor, you know, real legitimate guy who has turned a lot of his peers' world context on its ear, because he espouses, he's a linguist, and he's translated global ancient scriptures and come up with this not unique, because other people have said this, theory that human beings had what they call paleo contact.
Yep.
ET's involved in establishing us here to begin with. And he's cites things in the Bible, but he cites things in the Mayan Popol Vuh and in the Vedic texts and all over the world, Aboriginal oral tradition, Native American oral tradition. And so stick around, because you're going to hear, if you want to come and listen to that book, those books, there's more than one, you will be astounded at the way that our worldview has been manipulated. Okay, so
Absolutely. Absolutely. Alrighty. Maureen Demico wanted to know if she could get a message from her brother Ian.
Okay, I'm going to use my
and
influence of the angels, since that's what it sounds like we're talking about here. So
yes. Alrighty. Message from your brother Ian, Maureen. He's showing me your backyard, and is talking about there's an area that you're thinking about digging up the bushes that are in there, and planting succulents or something in there. And yeah, I think he's for it. Because he's not telling me specifically, but he's just showing me that the bushes are coming out, and I'm seeing succulents in there. So hopefully that's what it is. I also, from the tarot, I get the Hierophant, and that is your he appreciates your dedication to not only his memory, but also to the traditions that the family has kept up on his behalf. So it could be that maybe what I'm also getting is that maybe this was his garden, and he just wants to acknowledge that he knows that the garden was changed a little, and he's okay with it. But this is the Hierophant is honoring tradition and things that are long-standing, rooted, and so on. He's quite on board with that. And then the King of Swords. It's your he really respects the way that you have all honored his memory, in terms of seeing him as he truly was. It almost feels like there were times when he wasn't necessarily the nicest guy, but he appreciates the fact that you loved him in spite of that. So I hope that is helpful.
Wait, let's see what I got. Okay, first I got the Five of Pentacles reversed, and depending on context, I do sometimes read reversals, either the opposite of the meaning of the card or sometimes an intensification. This card is about grief. and loss. And I'm reading it as a reversal. He's telling you that he is always with you, the Hierophant, Marina.
Yes.
He's with you. He's looking over you. You're not going to be separated just because of, you're on a different plane. And he does not want you to grieve. He doesn't want you to feel guilty or to grieve. He wants you to appreciate the bounty of this world that you have right now, to appreciate what you have, to be happy with it, to feel a connection to the world that you're in, not the world he might be in. But see, everything's backwards. See the little angel? He's with you all the time. He's the Knight of Cups. He's telling you about the compassion and the love and the connection. It's a beautiful message.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Alrighty. And what?
Oh man, divine magic.
Oh, yes.
You just hit my sore spot, man. I just say, without reading cards, they already are.
Yes.
Yeah. But let's look at the cards. These are the United States of Tarot cards by Elena McClune, who was on my channel. We had a long conversation. She and her husband designed these, and they're kind of fun before the election because there are a lot of familiar political figures in these cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Cajun Proud, I hear you. Okay. Will they try to force it? They will. Yes, they will. This is, hold on. I'm not putting my glasses on, so I kind of have to try to zone in on it.
Story of my life.
Yeah, but I get the Five of Cups. That they are going to do their very best to get in there. I think that they're going to kind of start at the lower levels again, and get themselves situated at the lower levels of government, and then try to do a push forward. I get the Empress. There's too many people are wise to what they're doing, and there's where they were able to work in the shadows before, now they've been exposed. There's too many people watching, and what are they going to do? Well, I get the Five of Wands. There's going to be a lot of internal bickering, fighting, so on and so forth. I don't think that they're going to be able to do too much, but they're certainly going to try. And because also want to mention, because I got two fives, just pay attention to the fact that fives are about transition, about freedom, about adventure, and change is coming. So they will do their very best. Yeah, it's not going to work. And someone just asked, okay, what deck this was. This is the Gilded Tarot Deluxe by Chira Marchetti. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this is a dangerous question for me because I could just go off on this, but I'm going to control myself. So they already have the Princess of Pentacles. Notice that it's Ivanka and what's this?
Yes.
Yeah. And they've used their money and their influence, other people's money and their influence to really stab us in the back, to cause enormous suffering in this country, whether we're aware of it or not. It's been going on for a long time. They are directly responsible for the Federalist Society. They helped create it. And the Federalist Society with Leonard Leo created the Supreme Court. They own the Supreme Court. So they're already affecting us. But I got the Eight of Swords reversed and the Eight of Wands reversed. And like Marina said, look at the numbers. The 8 is almost beginning to get to the end of a cycle. Let's put it that way. There's going to be an end to the stabbing and the attacks. I'm taking this very literally. This is, who was that guy that was the first press secretary for Trump? And I can't think of his name. It's on
the guy going.
So I take this as the duplicitous people, politicians.
Sean Spicer.
Kevin Spicer. And I take this as people like the tech billionaires, the bros, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, people like that. This is coming to an end. And why do I think that? I get the Hierophant. This is returning to conventional tradition and wisdom and inner guidance. This is having a moral compass. Look who that is.
Yes.
Look at the sun, you know?
Yes.
And interesting, because we tend to associate the Reverend Martin Luther King with Christian values and very conventional Western beliefs, right? But here we go. This is a kind of a weird juxtaposition. The Wheel of Fortune with Kellyanne Conway. But the Wheel of Fortune is very much a reference to Eastern thought, Eastern philosophy, cycles of life. You know, it's the Hermetic principles, as far as the law of rhythm, as far as the pendulum swings one way, it's going to come back the other. This is going to get better. The question is, when? It's up to us. Entirely up. That's why we're doing this.
Absolutely. And yes, Folk Blue, the alternative facts lady. That's right. Yeah.
You love that.
And
the Queen of Orwell.
And Sean Spicer were just, they're falling over themselves to, kiss the ring. And,
It's like, who are you going to believe? Me or your lying eyes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All righty. And
I like that name, by the way. Divine Magic Occult. I like
that. Absolutely. James Clark. Thank you.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. No matter who. Same thing with local elections. Local elections is where this is where they start, right? They're not when let's say I'm working for a bank, okay? And I decide that I'm going to steal from that bank. I'm not going to go in and, plan $1 million robbery. No, I'm going to go into little accounts that a lot of people don't pay attention to, and I'm going to take $20 here and $50 here, and so on and so forth, right? Because those are insignificant amounts that a lot of people may or may not miss. And if they do miss it, they'll, whatever. So this is the same thing that the Heritage Foundation and a lot of these people are doing, is they are going down to the base level of your local elections, the school board, the, town council, the whatever, getting their people in there because you don't pay attention to them. Right? They tell you what you want to hear, and you just say, okay, yeah, absolutely, I'll go along with it. So that's where you have to start paying attention, is at the very, very base level. Who's telling you what? Can they back it up? What have they done in the past? Never mind what their words. Words can be flowery. I can explain something to you with beautiful words. It might still describe a pile of shit, but I'm going to make it sound good. So
there's no breathing room between Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation, Supreme Court, and the Donald Trump campaign. We're talking about the same hydra, the same entity. And the guy that's in charge, I was just trying to look it up. I hate when people do that, but it's driving me crazy. Kevin, is it Thompson? Something, the head of the Heritage Foundation, made a speech recently and described, once again, this is not novel, that their approach is
incremental change. We're not going to win all the battles. We're going to win the war. So we're going to chip away at democracy.
Yes.
School boards, city councils, state level. Yeah.
Yep. $10, $20 at a time. You won't even notice it from your account. So yeah, absolutely.
That scared me. I went, what? I got fired. No.
Yes.
No, sorry, I hit a wrong button. Ladies, I think it's time to bring up Thomas Jefferson. So how about if we take a little pause and listen to what Jefferson had to share with us?
Oh,
absolutely.
Okay. You know, this hour is flying by. It's half over already.
I know.
Crazy. So hang on. Here comes old Tom.
Doing a little review of the Founding Fathers. We're trying to dispel misinformation. This was not begun as a Christian country. These men were not enormously devout, and we've already read a couple of quotes from two of them saying exactly that. So we're going to continue in that vein. Thomas Jefferson was born in 1743 in Virginia, and I must have been Commonwealth, colony. I don't know. Do you know what it was then? Doesn't matter. Yeah. He died in 1826, July 4th, the same day as Adams. He was 83 years old. That's pretty good. He married Martha Wales, and they had 6 children. He abused Sally Hemings because she could not consent. She was a slave. He enslaved her, and they had 6 children. I think it's important to be honest about these things. I don't know how you feel about that, Deborah.
Absolutely.
Don't think we should sugarcoat this. These people are flawed just like the rest of us, you know. He was the primary author of the Declaration of Independence. He was a very avid anti-monarchist. He did not believe in having a king or a queen. He was the 3rd president of the United States, and he was just as avid a deist. He believed we were created by some greater source, and then the left to figure it out, that God does not interfere in our lives by punishing us and rewarding us. We're doing it to ourselves. He rejected the biblical interpretation of Christianity. He had no interest in that, which somebody needs to tell a whole lot of people right now about this. This is a quote. "Question with boldness even the existence of God, because if there be one, he must more approve the homage of reason than that of blindfolded fear." He was an advocate of Enlightenment worldviews. He was a proponent of free will and natural law. He was vocally anti-clerical. He had a lot to say about that. One of those things was priests are hostile to liberty. He was a defendant of religious freedom. And I think that's a real interesting juxtaposition and not a contradiction. Both things can exist at the same time. This was true of the Founding Fathers, probably all of them except one, which we will get to. The vast majority of them believed that your religious beliefs are your private belief. They have nothing to do with the government. And he is the one who coined the term separation of church and state. And what he meant was there was no required religion. The government couldn't impose a religion and say, we're going to run this country by Christian ways. You couldn't do that, according to the Founding Fathers. But at the same time, all religions were welcome, allowed, not banned, tolerated. This is a quote, "Religion is a matter that lies solely between man and God." He believed the full rights of citizenship, meaning the vote, should be allowed to property-owning men only. He believed in a notion of coverture, and that's a very old belief system coming from, they think maybe 1066, but definitely 1215 from the Magna Carta. They believed that women had no rights. Women were dependents by virtue of their gender, that they were dependent on their father and then their husband, on their oldest male relation if they didn't marry, And if there was no older male relation, their baby brother could do it. Or if there were no male relations, then legal guardians. And they had protection for them, allegedly, and authority over them. And because of that dependence, which was inherent in their gender, women could not be trusted to make fully considered voting choices.
Yeah.
Jefferson's belief, not Jefferson, I'm sorry. Am I in Jefferson? Yes, Jefferson's belief, not my belief. I just want to make that clear for you too. So here are the questions. Would you say now that you understand that free will exists for all people with no regard for gender, race, or property, and that everyone should have been allowed to vote from the beginning of the country?
Theoretically, everyone should be allowed to vote. However, let's take the example of your present-day government. Education standards have fallen to a level that is horrifying. Too many citizens are entirely disengaged from the democratic process. They haven't a clue about who represents their needs and best interests. Over and over, they vote against themselves, and look at the state the country is in today, teetering on the edge of theocracy. I advocate educating the citizens, getting them involved in their government so that they understand the process and they can make informed decisions. There is much that is broken in America today. It is disheartening to witness. Sometimes I feel I must avert my eyes because it's painful to watch the disintegration of the grand ideals that we set forth when we created this country. Rules must be applied and obeyed. Otherwise, you have anarchy. Systems and structures must be put in place, lest ignorance from being taken advantage of and used as pawns to overturn a democratically elected government destroy what's left of your democracy.
Well, playing devil's advocate, the people that are the most vociferously fighting against voting rights for everybody, the ones who are changing the rules and regulations all over the country to that end, many of the ones who want to return to coverture, to take away the 19th Amendment, people, for example, Tom Cotton, Josh Hawley, J.D. Vance, all Ivy League graduates. They're educated.
Yes.
Just had to make that point. Okay. All right. What will it take to get white Christian nationalism and every institutionalized religion out of politics?
Simple. It will take enough good Americans using common sense, standing up and voting their conscience while they still can. Failing that, I fear democracy in America will become extinct.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to get in line because I think a lot of us feel the same way.
Yes.
What do you make of today's religious leaders and religious movements, just how they are?
They are fools, worshiping a false god through blind greed and ignorance. There's nothing admirable about their actions or their intentions. Some you might excuse as being too ignorant to understand the consequences of their actions. However, they are the minority. The majority are simply following the greed and lust in their hearts for a hedonistic lifestyle where they make the rules and others must bend the knee to them. In turn, they bend the knee to their great leader, who they stupidly follow, believing the lies that are dished out by perhaps the greatest con man in the history of the country.
You heard it first, hot off the press from Thomas Jefferson. Oh, I'm loving this.
Can't argue with old Tom.
Oh, I wouldn't.
No.
Well, I just did, but do you still support the idea of small? This was taken from a quote. Small outbreaks of rebellion to end oppression, as they seem to present today from the right-wing point of view. Was that a clear question?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Rebellion for an honorable cause is still worthwhile and has value. Rebellion without regard to the larger consequences and the good of all, no, that's anarchy. Our dream was that you would support and lift one another up, not prey upon one another's worst fears in order to gain advantage. It's a sad state of affairs that the grand old lady USA has come to.
I love it that he actually honed right in on the crux of the issue, which is manipulating people's fears for personal advantage. That's it. Something in my eye. Okay. What do you make of the storming of the Capitol on January 6th, 2021?
I would say that those men and women who stormed the Capitol disgraced the very foundation that this country was built upon. They are traitors to one another and to the country. They brought great dishonor to themselves and their compatriots.
Wow. Now, this is a little personal. Can you continue to justify your relationship with Sally Heming and the fact that you did not free your own children by her?
He hangs his head in shame. I cannot now justify that with all of my high ideals, I gave in to my own hedonistic appetite and took what I felt was mine. I rationalized and justified to myself that I was doing great things for the country and I deserved some private comfort. I allowed my pride to get in the way of what I knew was right. Had I freed and claimed my slave children, it would have cost me my place in society and government. I would have been shunned. Today, I'm proud of the accomplishments of Sally's descendants, what they've done and who they are. I'm proud they stepped out of the shadow of slavery, and I deeply regret the pain and suffering that I was wholly responsible for.
I'm actually thrilled to hear that answer because do you remember, Deborah, when we did Charles Lindbergh?
Yes.
Completely unrepentant. Like he learned nothing.
Well, whole different character of human being.
Yeah, but this sort of shows you the quality of person that Thomas Jefferson was, that he has the humility to admit that was a huge sin. And I'm not judging. Well, I guess I am, but it's how we learn, you know, and he's a great example of how to deal with your flaws and your failures. That's love that answer. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that was going to happen. I'm getting kind of tired of looking at myself pontificating.
No, that was fascinating. I really enjoyed that because it's nice to be able to go back in time and to talk with someone who has gone through Earth School, who has now transitioned to the other side, who has learned the message, and to kind of say, okay, do you see where you dropped the ball? What do you think about that? What's your view now?
And what can we learn from it? That's that's the whole point, is what can we learn? And exactly. How remarkable is it that each and every one of these men that we got Deborah to channel, all admitted that this was not a Christian country.
Yes.
They advocated separation of church and state. What's happening now is an aberration. And there was only one who was actually a vocal supporter of good Christian men being in the government. Stay tuned. I'll tell you off. I want people to watch that because I think there are karmic parallels going on today. It's really remarkable.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why, you know, I think that, civics class, history class, education from the time that you start, you know, in kindergarten to learn history is vitally important. If you don't know and understand history, chances are very good that you are going to repeat some of the same mistakes that others have done before you.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? I don't need to, if I wake up and it's winter time and, you know, I go outside and my next door neighbor says to me, be careful, it's icy. You know, I'm going to believe him rather than if I don't have a history of understanding the way that he is sharing information. I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to skid. My feet are going to come out from under me and, you know, I'm going to be on my butt.
Yep. It's a lack of experience, a lack of information, and it's immaturity. I remember when I was 5, we had a griddle built into the top of our stove. And I remember this like it was yesterday. My mother said, well, don't put your hand on that. You'll burn your hand. And the first thing I did, I didn't know what that meant. I put my hand right on it and I burnt my hand. And I tell you what, I haven't done it since.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing with lessons of history. If you're not told, if you don't get a little taste of what it's like when things go awry, you get complacent or you get smug. It's terrible. Do we have any other questions from people? I can't see the
Yes, I know. There, you know what? I'm going to go back up and see if I can't spot something. Oh, okay, here we go.
Whoa.
Please put it up. Put the question up.
Somebody's back. Well, and Karma is Dorothy.
Yeah, we are living there. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Delusional. Well, you know what? People have been infected with propaganda, with mind control. They're brainwashed. And once you get into a cult, every time I film a video, I have to recommend The Cult of Trump by Dr. Stephen Hassan. Excellent book. Explains mind control and what's going on. So do we have another question? Because I have a question. Oh, Ellie Leonard. You know, that name is very familiar. I know Ellie. Hi, Ellie. I'm so thrilled you're here. Where you believe they're speaking? Oh, where do you believe you're speaking from? Oh, she wants us to explain the channeling that Debbra does.
Okay.
Trump can speak from the same place with the same heart. Oh, you're so
eventually.
Okay, now I'm not an expert on this, but this is my very basic understanding. The Akashic records. Okay, so you can look at this like plasma physics, or you can look at it as spirituality, because they're on the same continuum and they're meeting. Everything is energy. Energy's never lost. It changes, what's the word I want? Form. We are surrounded. We're living in a soup of past, present, and future. People who channel have the capability of connecting their energy with that energy that we're sitting in, and they're able to get information. Scientists call it information in the field. This is quantum physics. Spiritual people call it the Akashic records. I call it really interesting because there's nothing like being able to get it right out of George Washington's mouth. That's fascinating. Trump, can he speak from the same place with the same heart? Without being judgy, I'm going to judge. Some people come with so much unbalanced karma. You can call it sin. You can call it lack of grace. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It's needing to make amends from what they did last time. They come into this lifetime with that burden, and they have a choice. They can work on it or not, or they can dig themselves a deeper hole. He's digging himself a real deep hole. He would have to get to a point where he even recognized that there was a problem, right? I think he's also working. I'm going to diagnose now. I left my psychiatric degree in the other room, but we're talking about at a bare minimum, personality disorder, malignant narcissism. I vote psychopathy, but allegedly, you have to care. You have to have a soul.
Yeah,
you have to care. What do you think, Marina?
I think that there will be a time when we are going to be able to connect with him on the other side, and I think that he is. I think that he is going to recognize some of those things, and the reason that I say that is, as a human being, I don't have the time of day for him. I think, yes, he is a narcissist. He is homophobic. He is the embodiment of the 7 deadly sins. And if he was on fire, I wouldn't cross the
Oh
street.
my God, you're reading my mind.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
asking you, how much spit do you have?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. No, none. So on that human lesson, I don't have the time of day for him. At the same time, on a spiritual level, I can appreciate that where we are right now, it took a particular soul, a particular kind character to be able to expose everything that needed to be exposed in a believable way. If it had been anyone else, we might still be going through the whatever. This had to be very, very visible, very over the top, very overdone. And who better than him on a spiritual level to kind of, lift up the floorboards, show us where the cockroaches are, show us where, the house is falling down and there's rot and all that kind of stuff. So I can separate the two of them, and I think that there will be a time that we will be able to communicate with them from the other side. And I think that we might even be able to get more of an explanation as to why he took on this soul contract.
Yeah.
Why he decided this.
Agent of change, right?
Yes.
Agent of change, agent of chaos. He's born with choices. We all have free will. Right?
Exactly.
And if you don't exercise the right choices, you go down a different path. He could have been a good person.
Yes.
I hate to judge. And then none of this would have unfolded the way it has. It would unfold in some way, but not the way it has. He didn't make those choices. And so he serves a function, a lesson for all of us. Everything that we're here, I keep telling people this is so difficult a time to be alive when you have to watch this unfolding.
Yes.
There's a reason why you're here to watch this unfold. There's some lesson.
Yes.
Message, something in it. So you have to decide for yourself, what is that? But he serves a purpose.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. We may not like it. And so a lot of us certainly don't agree with it. But I think that he and Putin have traveled many lifetimes together and have taken on a lot of this sort of universal karmic payback.
Yeah.
And I think that, as soon as one of them transitions to the other side, the other one will not be far behind. They do this together.
Yeah. Well, I think probably Trump and Kim in North Korea were married in the past.
Could be.
I swear to God. Ellie, thank you for watching. I'm really pleased. Yeah, I know Ellie, so I'm very, very pleased.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys, to be able to say thank you to the chat. Thank you to you, you guys, for being here, for supporting this, for encouraging each other to talk to each other. This is a mission that, yes, I understand it was put together very quickly. Maybe things don't roll as perfectly as they could. That's half the fun, right? Is the unexpected. You don't know which way to go. The thing that is common to everyone who is here is your desire for change, your commitment that you are going to be part of the change. You're no longer just going to talk about it. You're no longer just going to say, yeah, well, someone needs to do something. Mm-hmm. You're saying, I will do something.
This creates collective energy. And time and distance have no meaning. So this collective energy joins together, and like ripples in a pond, it does make a difference. Yes. Talk to people that you know. Practice in front of a mirror, getting your one or two facts smooth. Get the delivery smooth. You're not fighting, you're not arguing, you're just matter of fact, this is the way it is. Really urge people double check your voting registration.
Yes.
Be aware of the issues. When people say they don't like politics, ask them how much do they like their IUD? How much do they like to be able to choose to have a baby if they find that they're infertile? How much do they want that their good friends who are part of the LGBTQ community to have a life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you're, if you're have been one of those people who has never contributed to, let's say, a pension plan or old age security or whatnot, and you are now you're getting money from the government, I hate to tell you, and please don't blame the messenger. That's socialism. It's the one thing that you don't like. That's a definition of socialism.
So is the fire department.
Yes.
The police, all those services that you depend, those are socialism.
Yes, exactly. So, don't, pay attention to what people are telling you. And, when you hear things like, well, do your own research. Yes, do your own research, but don't go back to the same source over and over and over again. Because you're asking questions because you want to get a differing opinion, right? You want to be able to contrast and say, okay, well, which one resonates with me? So if you're used to getting all your news on Fox, maybe go to Al Jazeera, maybe go to AP News, maybe go to someone clearly on the other side.
Axios, Politico.
Yes, yeah. See what they're saying, and then kind of see if you can find the balance with what resonates with you. So yeah.
I would recommend, a lesson I learned. Liberals, we progressives in the group here tend to be just as tribal, just as clannish, and our news sources, everybody's madly in love with Rachel Maddow, and hats off to Rachel Maddow. But there are other sources of information, and I got a kind of a lesson in humility when I heard a man talking and I thought, that just resonates for me. I so agree. And who did it turn out to be but Rick Wilson, Republican big shot? And I thought, now one of the creators of the Lincoln Project. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Good timing, Deborah.
Yes, we are winding down. I'm sorry, the conversation is so fascinating, but we're just about the top of the hour, and Dr. Whimsy is waiting backstage to join us.
Donate.
Yes.
Get your family and friends to donate.
Hey, we made it over 3,000. That's huge.
Lovely. Lovely. Perfect.
Super chats, so we shouldn't have any more of that problem, which is really good. But I do have some bad news, you guys. All the things I set up to try and tape this recording, because YouTube won't save 24 hours. None of them worked. This is not going to be saved. I might get the first 10 hours. But the one I did this sample on recently, 3 days, and it still hasn't shown up. So that I can grab it. So that's the bad news. So be here if you can. And if you can't, what we'll do is we'll grab the pre-taped pieces and we can put those back out in a video. We're just going to miss the individual back and forth, which is a shame. But the people who were here got to experience it, and that's important. We got to share the energy.
Yeah.
Deborah,
if I can just suggest something, if YouTube does have a time limit, like 10 hours and that's it, maybe at the 10-hour mark, okay, everyone takes a 5-minute break. You can set up another live stream and call it, part 2.
I could do that. The problem is we'd lose all the people who've got this stream. We don't want to stop this stream.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
and I was told that YouTube would save about 10 hours, and I would have 10 hours from StreamYard. I got the 10 hours from StreamYard, but not from YouTube. Now, maybe in a week, that video will finally show up.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know, but I just wanted to let everybody know. We so appreciate you being here. So really treasure it, because we might not see it again. Thank you so much, Helen. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Marina. Talk to you soon.
See you later, Helen. Yes.